In this episode, we talk about how long it usually takes to make money in property. Hello and welcome to episode 25 of Real Estate TV. As usual, I'm very excited to bring you today's episode. It's actually coming off the back of a couple of questions I've had on social media now. A lot of people are asking me about quicker ways to make money. And that kind of scares me a little bit, to be honest with you. Quick money usually doesn't exist. The whole concept of needing money quickly from an investment kind of frightens me, to be honest with you. And it prompted me to think about an episode talking about how long you should hold property for in real estate and how long it usually takes to make money. So we're going to jump straight on in. And generally, the rule of thumb, and there are tons of exceptions to this rule and markets fluctuate and all that sort of gear, but typically the rule of thumb is property doubles over a 10-year life period. So if you buy a house for $400,000 and you hold it for 10 years, in theory, you sell it for $800,000. Now, of course, that really depends on what market you're in, but that is just how the trend has worked over the last, I think, 150 years. So there's a fair bit of data there. But property is definitely not a short game, and that's what I want to talk about today. A lot of people get into it thinking that in 18 months or 24 months they'll make $80,000 or whatever it is. And look, there are definitely examples where that does happen, especially if you buy at the apex of a market that has been struggling and then picks up. But typically, it is not a short game. And when you buy, you really need to be thinking about a 10-year plan, to be honest with you. And that's just something that I wanted to put out there. It's not something a lot of people talk about. Something that I wanted to talk about. A lot of clever investors actually never sell as well. There's a big trend of people that buy property and then leverage the equity in the property to use that as a deposit for the next one. So the theory behind that is if you buy for $400,000, wait 4 years, there might be $100,000 in equity over that time or $200,000 in equity. And what people do is they borrow money from that $200,000 in equity. They might borrow $50,000 and use it as a deposit for their next house. So the reason people do that is when you sell property, you actually spend a lot of money. You've got agents' fees, which aren't cheap, and legal costs, and sometimes, and capital gains tax if you never live in it as well. So sometimes it's better off not selling. My dad actually had a great saying, which was buy well and never sell. And it's something that I'll be sticking to, and something a lot of people actually stick to. And that means that you can build a portfolio a little bit quicker, and you don't have to wait the full 10-year term before you can sell and then buy two, if that makes sense. So this is going to be a shorter episode. It is a really basic topic. It was just coming off the back of me being a little bit alarmed. And I want you guys to start thinking about playing the long game and not the short game. Making money is more of a game of chess than it is checkers. It's more a marathon than a sprint. And you need to have some patience about you. Good things come to those who wait. 100%. Yeah. Making money usually happens for a reason, and it's because someone else is not willing to do what is required. So that's usually it takes a long time, or it's risky, or both. So I'm yet to find anything that has good money in it that's easy. There's a reason that there's money in something, and it's time and risk. And with property, there is a fair amount of risk. Personally, I think it's good risk. I mean, we've got data over the last 100 to 150 years that shows property prices have gone up. You'd probably buy a property back in the 1850s for $10. Now we're talking about $900,000. There's a fair amount of data there. So personally, I think it's less risky than what people think, but the numbers are big. So it is scary, and that is why I think there is money to be made in property. If you guys have any questions for me, or if you would like me to record a specific topic off the back of a question that you have, please reach out to me on Twitter. My handle is AndyJPater, and ask me a question and I'll make an episode about it, or maybe I'll answer 2 or 3 questions as an episode, just because these are there for you. They're not really there for me. And if you guys are asking specific questions, I'm going to be able to fine-tune the episodes and make them specifically for what you actually want to know. So please reach out to me on Twitter and ask any questions that you have. Other than that, I think that's it. As I said, shorter episode, which I prefer these shorter episodes, get the information out and get you guys back into your day. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in episode 26.